Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Vixey's Healing Room, a safe space where we have real, raw, and healing conversations. Before we proceed, I'd like to apologize for missing on 2 episodes in this year. I sincerely apologize, and I promise it would not happen again. So, today's episode, I really do have something special to share with you all. And that's the fact that I've had to think thoroughly and deeply and given the, would that be the energy? But, given the energy, emotion, and the way I'm invested in this, to discuss, in this course, to discuss, yeah, to discuss. I've decided that we're not just a group of listeners, but I see you all, my amazing subscribers and viewers, as a family, a community, a tribe of people healing together, taking this walk and journey together. And so I decided to come up with a special name for you all. So officially and starting today, you all will be addressed as Vixey's Soul Tribe. Amazing, right? I wish I had an audience. I would have people clapping for me right now. So, as we continue, remember the last episode, we said we were just scratching the surface of that conversation or the topic. Today, I have two amazing people with me who would dive into this topic. We are going to do justice to this topic because they'll be sharing their own perspective. And guess what today? I have a male in the studio. I don't have two women today. We want to hear from a guy's perspective. So allow me to introduce my two amazing guests for today. I have Hawa here. Hawa is the CEO of Nachel Footwears, yeah, and the CEO of Iman Gifters. Let me explain it to you in a way that you understand. Nachel Footwears makes amazing footwears for male and female. Colorful, lovely designs, affordable too. Let me not scare you guys. Affordable. And Iman Gifters, you think about all those gifts, all those lovely gift boxes that you see. I haven't seen anyone come up with amazing and unique designs for her gift boxes. So for birthdays, Salah, Christmas, Easter, hampers. Oh, her hampers are to die for. You'd want to receive one. This is the lady to go to. Hello, Hawa. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And to Hawa's left, I have this amazing young man. You know, Odogu Parara. I have Odinaka with me today as the second guest. Odinaka is the CEO of Nzapi. Hmm. I didn't wear, you remember my t-shirt now, the Vixey's Healing Room t-shirt. It comes from his brand. Odinaka Nzapi is into branding of all sorts, types, unique. And have I said this to you, but your work is perfect. Welcome, Odinaka, to today's episode on Vixey's Healing Room. So we'll dive into the conversation for today. And I trust that we're going to do great justice to this conversation. So today is the part 2 of the second episode on Vixey's Healing Room, which is breaking the stigma around mental health. So, to the conversation of today, I'm going to throw a general question, okay? So, why do you think people, especially in our culture and in this part of the world, struggle to talk about mental health openly?
Women naturally talk. Now, but it's tricky also. I mean, I've interacted with women that because women growing up are shielded, they're shielded away from everything, so they don't have a lot of interaction. For most women, maybe now a lot of women are becoming exposed. In fact, not even a lot. We have more generation of women who are exposed.
And
But it's
outspoken.
still embedded that before you breach that divide of talking, finding someone you can trust. And if you don't find someone you can trust, it's hard to break down a lot of barriers. You know, it's getting better, but it's still there. It's still there subliminally, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, what do you think?
For me personally, I think it boils down to stigma. That's the word, because you get looked a type of way.
Mm.
You could get looked a type of way. You could be called weak. You could be called weak in different ways.
So you think society is judgmental?
Yes, society is very judgmental.
Hmm. Okay, so Odnak, I'm going to ask you this question. So today we're trying to really get the male perspective on this topic, yeah? So as a man, have you ever felt pressure to man up instead of expressing your emotions, you know, at any time, you know? Have you ever felt the need to?
A million times.
You want to share?
Trust me, a million times.
Okay.
But the truth there is that the question out of a million times probably has come out only 10 times.
So do you think society gives the man, do you think they encourage the man to be vulnerable?
No.
You do-
It's not explicit, but it's there. It's not written. The man should not talk. But so it goes back to what I said earlier about the structure, the African structure. You know, it's hard of a man to open up. It's for a man to a man. He thinks if I tell him I'm weaker. From a man to a woman, he also it gets worse.
So are you saying that even the men judge their fellow men?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So I thought the men would give their fellow, you know.
No, I tell you for free that if you now hear things like, why you complain like a woman?
Oh, wow.
And once that, you don't want to hear that.
So you rather not talk about
So you rather
it.
not. And so he can't also talk to the woman because the woman expects him naturally to.
Man up.
So he's stuck with himself.
Wow.
I'll also add that the stigma aspect affects not just, it affects a lot of things, career-wise, business-wise,
Sure.
relationships. So you don't want to be looked at as having a kind of, what's the word? Okay, being weak in a type of way. Being weak in, because if there are times when people complain that they are maybe depressed or they have some kind of mental challenge at a particular time, and you see it could affect your business relationship with someone. You might not be trusted for some.
Because you feel like you're not in the right.
Yes, you're not in your right space of mind, and it would affect some people's business relationship at workplace. I know it affects some people's work. Relationship wise, you be like, that one where they follow. You understand? That one where we get some. You get all those kind of vibes.
And that's not something that a man wants to face. So he would rather, or a woman, so they would rather just.
Sure, like,
Hold it.
stick to yourself.
Hold it in.
So I don't, okay, so I haven't mentioned that Hawa is a sickle cell warrior. And she's had a lot to deal with. So, Hawa, let me ask, has living with sickle cell disease affected your mental health in any way?
A whole lot, honestly. It has affected me a whole lot. So, just like I said, relationship-wise, business-wise, career-wise, it has even normal relationship between friends. I think it has affected in different ways. We have situations. Okay, let's go back to business and career. Let's look at finances. With sickle cell, you end up spending a whole lot on medications. For you to get the type of care you want that will bring you to optimum capacity, you spend a lot. You go to good hospitals, your medications cost a lot. And before you know, it's draining in different ways. It's draining. And before you know, it's affecting you if you can't meet up. If you can't meet up, it starts affecting you. So we have sickle cell patients that end up relying on maybe falling into drug addictions and things like that. There are some that end up committing suicide in one ways or the others. Okay, and let me come back to business and career now. I mean, there was a time I was looking for a job desperately and I got one. This is about almost 15 years ago. I now got a job. And I started having crisis back to back. I started
Oh.
having,
And those things come,
yes,
right?
those things come. I started having crisis back to back. Maybe I couldn't meet up with the demands of the job. I was working in Lagos then. I had to leave the mainland to the island every day. I was driving myself. I'll come, go out, and then I'd have a crisis. After a while, they had to let me go. So those kind of things will cause you some mental health challenges. So that's that. And let's say relationship wise, people say, oh, okay, you are SS. I beg, I don't want to go there, or those kind of things. If you're not careful, it will affect you. I see a lot of women going into some serious female sickle cell patients, and even the male getting weighed down emotionally because of this. Then let's say business wise. Okay, imagine when I was talking, okay, natural footwear, when I started it initially, that was my main source of livelihood. So I had some clients that used to buy a lot from me, and
Yeah.
I would come, I would take their, I was doing a deposit.
Okay,
That
deposit
they
before.
produce.
Okay.
So I had taken their deposits and I went to produce. Unfortunately, I fell ill during that time. And it was one serious crisis that I was in the hospital for close to a month.
Oh,
And yes,
wow.
okay, maybe I was bad in communicating. I'm talking of 2010, 2011. I didn't, I was so into myself, I was so down that I couldn't communicate properly. So by the time I came out of the hospital, then I called them, oh, this is what happened, please, I delayed on your job.
They didn't want to
anything
listen.
do with me anymore. So you lose some opportunities because of that. So yes, maybe I didn't handle the communication well, and then maybe I felt drained that why am I going through this, which is some kind of low mental state at that point. And by the time I came back, they didn't want to have anything to do with me afterwards.
And that would have affected, I mean, given that that was the only thing that you were doing at that time.
The only thing I was doing at that time, I felt bad. I came, so I mean, time has gone further. There are ways around it now, but then you still can't beat coming back into that deep hole of depression or mental.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Wow, that's like a lot to take in. So I'm going to come back to you, Adinaka. Personally, how do you cope with stress and emotional challenges as a man?
It's gotten better. I have evolved. I have a circle.
Oh, okay. That sounds interesting.
So, like I said, it's we both met ourselves at ground zero.
Okay.
Wasn't a planning, but we both realized that we're doing well in our career. We, business, different things. But a casual conversation, and then there was trust. We found that there was something connecting us. We had business, and we had trusted ourselves over a period of time. And so that was the key thing, because vulnerability requires trust. It requires trust.
Yeah.
So the moment we realized that we clicked on a lot of, and we could tell ourselves the truth. There's vulnerability, there's trust, there's truth. It became a function of time, and we realized that snippets of, our personal issues were now coming into the fray, and we understood, had this conversation. It was a real conversation, like face to face, like this. We talked and said, we have to be accountable to each other.
Okay.
Some of us are married, and some issues that people can't even discuss. We ensure that we discuss it. We have people that have issues with their partner, so we had to do that. So once I feel tense, I have those people. We don't need to call. We don't converge.
Yeah.
But at least I can call one or two.
Call up on the phone.
I know it's blunt, it's real, and I get real feedback.
Feedback.
And because I know it's a safe space, we have real fights as adults, men. We have our real fights, but we come back, and we've never had an issue where that I said something to somebody. We've been together for like 5 years together.
Okay.
We've not had an issue where something that was said.
You heard it somewhere.
So
Yeah.
It's easier. It's gotten easier to just talk to someone. And it's like the kind of place where you enter, it's who you are as a person, your career. Some of us are not as buoyant
As the others, yeah.
It's like a level playing field where you come in and it's your
It's just
person,
you.
your character that matters. So for me, I consider myself really lucky. And I also say I have a family. Not everybody has the kind of family I have. With parents that I can talk to. I have my sister, we're quite close. I've learned that she's younger, but I've had to. And I think the key thing is very important we mention it on this show.
Yeah.
That what most people need to unlock themselves is a space where there's trust and there's truth. it could come from anywhere.
Yeah.
But it has to start from the self. Like you have to understand that that yearning from yourself. And I think before the show started, we talked about value sets.
Yeah.
So because people connect on values, so you need to find what is it about me that connects me to next. Because if you don't have connecting points, it makes it very difficult.
It makes
to go around. Because you
right.
can't just call somebody who is thinking, who is selfish, for example, to start talking about things like this to the person. So if you're a very loud person, you're very extroverted, you probably are willing to stay with extroverted, but you guys can band
Yeah, you can you bond.
So I think that's it for me.
Yeah, because I remember that the last episode we talked about you talked about family.
Yes.
We talked about the family being a starting point. You know, your family. You need to remember that there's a family that you can go back to. You can be vulnerable with them. You can tell them your truth. You can just open and you can just be open with them. And they're not judging you. The key thing here is I think we've identified the fact that there is judgment. People pass judgment on people who are vulnerable. So you need to, the family first of all, and then you talked about the community, like your safe space.
It's very important. I mean, before the show started, we were talking. Not everybody has a privilege of
Having that, yeah.
Not everybody has a privilege,
Yes.
but and that's why this kind of show. I was stoked when you invited me. I mean, you know how my schedule is.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here because I consider myself privileged, and there's this thing they say the burden of privilege, that if you know that you've been blessed in a certain way, you have to create channels for other people. Now, there's somebody here who's probably watching this who doesn't have the backbone of a great family or great circle that I have, and doesn't believe. This kind of things we're saying, that's where it draws strength from for whoever it is to realize that the key starts with the self. You have to own up to what you're dealing with, because we have a society where, because of all this, people now suppress. People deny what they're dealing with. So I think it's very important that thank you, by the way, for this show. It's very important.
Thank you, T. I feel honored that you're here. So, how I'm going to ask, same question that I've asked him, what support systems and coping strategies have helped you the most?
Okay. I rely on what he said, family first of all. My mom has followed me back to back anywhere I'm going to. She's been like a major support system. I have a younger brother who, especially during crises and things, sometimes he would stay with me in the hospital. Like when I had my daughter, and I had to be in the hospital for a long time. So my brother would resume there in the morning and close in the evening. So support system. Then another thing I've been blessed with is I've been blessed with amazing friends. Amazing friends. I won't say I haven't met really. Yes.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But then I've been blessed with amazing friends that have accepted me, hook, line, and as in
Just the way you are.
the way I am. Accepted me the way I am, and they flow with it. And then you see them, they are there for me. They were like, okay, Hawaii is down. You see them, they all
Rally around.
different ways, and it has helped me with my mental and emotional state, because I know that I have something to rely on. First of all, you need to build your values too, so that you know, oh, this is what I stand for,
Yeah,
this is
very
what I need, this is this, so that you know when you meet that person that you
You have a connection.
connection with.
You have a connection.
And then when you see somebody else that you do not have that connection with, you can be careful with your vulnerability and your trust, or else you won't get burnt.
Yeah.
It's about being self-aware early enough.
And I know that when people get burnt, they tend to withdraw.
Yes.
Yeah, naturally.
When you get burnt, you tend to withdraw. You don't want to feel that again.
Yeah, and that's why I say, just flowing from what Howard said, that, I keep saying a lot of us are privileged when it has to do with knowing that you need to build up your value set. Shows like this let people know that it's possible, that it's a whole lot, because some of us learned it from family or great circle of friends.
Yeah.
But some people just, life hit them the way it hit them. So when we talk about these kind of things, people know that the work starts with you. It's not, there's really no sympathy in that regard.
Yeah.
No matter how great the circle around you is, if you are not self-aware the work is harder.
Yeah.
It's harder. So it's very important that people, whoever that is watching this, gets to understand that it's the self. So you start looking at yourself to build up, like you said, very very key that you said, that value set.
And for me personally, I think I learned from experience. Experience. Yes, my family has been there for support system, but then on outward, so building outward support system, it has been from experience, getting burnt, knowing that
Because I was just going to ask you, do you think people understand the mental and emotional toll of living with a chronic, illness and all? Do people out there, do they understand?
a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. They're like, oh, okay, maybe what is it particularly? Do you fall sick occasionally? Do you do this? They don't know the feeling like you're different. Feeling like, oh, this thing is sucking some. You understand?
It's taking a lot from you.
Taking a lot from me. It's the feeling of I'm not able to achieve my utmost potential or capacity. I can push the utmost capacity because of this. I remember one time, I had my MBA from Lagos Business School, and I had these high dreams. I had these high dreams then, but I couldn't get myself together in
Yeah.
time as then. So when I finished, I was like, oh God, in the next 10 years, I'm going to be
Blah,
blah, blah.
you're going to be the $10 of this,
But then I spent the first 1 year sick.
Oh, and that was a setback.
Graduate, it was a huge setback for me. I was sick. I couldn't hold down any job. I couldn't do anything. So by the time I started getting myself back together and saying, okay, let me go look for a job. That was when I started thinking of business, and then I couldn't hold myself together to even build the capital and everything.
Yeah, because
yes, I remember a friend telling me that, oh, I now got a job in Lafia then, and the job was as a receptionist with an NGO. And she was like, okay, the pay is not bad. It's going to take you to Lafia. But are you not going to take this? When she was right, I didn't really want to, because I was already applying for business development with an oil and gas company, and I'd done the first stage, I'd done the second stage.
yeah,
Said they were going to get back to me, and I was hoping and waiting.
we were hopeful.
Yes, so this receptionist job came first. So I remember my friend on the way to the airport, she talked to me. She was like, Hawa, are you sure you're not pushing beyond your capacity? That's
So she already believed that you had a limit, you were limited. Oh wow, that's not encouraging.
This is a long time now, but
That's
I
not
still
encouraging,
remember,
yeah.
because I was like, oh, so maybe my capacity is this.
It has a way of messing with your own thoughts too.
Okay, luckily I did get to the Laffy and I started the receptionist job, but I wasn't happy. I was like, God, I'm more than this. I went all the way to this school, I did this. So immediately an opportunity came in.
You were quick.
That I wanted, that I felt was in line with my career goal. I started pushing for me to. So I even agreed to intern in that role.
Just so that you're doing something that you love
Yes.
to,
Eventually, the lady that was in that role resigned. She got a better offer, and I was offered that job.
So somebody's word, a word spoken knowingly or unknowingly, can either inspire you
I'll break you.
or break you. So choice of words, very, very important. The things that we say to people, like you said, speak positive things to people. Okay, this is getting interesting. You see, I promised my viewers that the next episode we're going to go deep, deep, deep. It's the issue of mental health and stigma, the challenges, around it. It's not something that you can finish. It's not a topic that you can finish in a day or in one sitting. It's something that you would keep, it's unending. You go this angle, there's something else that's coming up. It's something that you need to keep talking about. People need to be aware of these things. People need to know that there's some things that you shouldn't do. Like we said, words that you shouldn't say, because these things you may be killing somebody's spirit. Yes. So Odinaka, what advice would you give to other men who are struggling but afraid to seek help?
First off, you are not different. You are no less a man because of this. And I'm happy that, I'm so grateful that she highlighted the value thing, that you find your tribe. that you're very intentional about your tribe. The key word that I think is intentional. As men, we're like, you can drink with anybody, you can, hang out, watch football with anybody. But you have to identify your value set, your value set, and intentionally seek out people within your circle that align with them. Because value connects. Once you connect with someone on values, it could be church, it could be whatever it is. It's not even a moral thing. But let it be something that you see that the other person honors, but it flows from you. I mean, it's just like pitching. Like, you don't pitch a business that you are not heavily vested in. You have to really know the business well enough. And the business we're talking about is the business of the self. You have to know yourself well enough to the level that you see this as an opportunity. I mean, if you don't know yourself well enough, somebody who could be your person could pass you, but might even be with you. So my message, like in summary, is this: first thing first, look into yourself. Don't look outside. And first, you are not alone. Every man practically has the same burden, but you need to look into yourself, and then intentionally look out for people who are like you. That's the starting point. I think these three things should, for me, suffice it.
Yeah, so I'm going to generally say this. What role do you think the media or podcasts like this, can play in breaking the stigma around mental health?
I think, like we've already highlighted you've invited a man to the show. That's the first thing you did. You could have invited another woman, and then she would have tried to tell you what she thinks a man should do. But accepting to even come here is also a bold step. I mean, it doesn't mean anything for me per se, but there are not many people who can't afford to, because admitting on camera that you can be weak, it means, but I know it doesn't make me less of who I am. So I think that what you've done, what you're doing, and I think I really should encourage you to maybe invite more men, is it gives us the voice to remind our fellow man. Because if a woman says it, I beg, it's a woman. So I think it's very important.
Interesting. So we are going to be inviting more men. We are going to be. So the last time we talked about, we're trying to think about ways that we can encourage people, and to speak up, seek help, and all of that. Today we've identified finding your tribe, finding a community of people that have same values with you. And I think that's very important, and that's very key in all of this. And I feel like the more we talk about this, people become very aware. So sometimes, like we mentioned earlier, sometimes most people do not know that whatever it is that they are doing, or the words that they speak or say to people, would affect the next person negatively. So people need to be aware, right words to say to people, what not to do, do not judge. In this part of the world, and I think our culture too, we're very judgmental. We're very, very judgmental. And I would say that sometimes, yes, I can be guilty. Sitting down here personally, you don't know the struggle of the next person. I always preach, allow people some grace. Allow people some grace. You don't know what their struggle may be. So I've learned, when people do things or behave or act in a certain way, I've learned the what ifs. What if this person is going through this? What if, sometimes they say it's making excuses for people, but I'd like to make an excuse for you, and then let you prove me wrong, or behave otherwise. But I like to first of all think that, okay, maybe the reason why you're doing this is because this, and so allow people, the same way you allow yourself some grace, you allow people out there some grace.
No, I think what you said now, not everybody, people don't even extend grace to themselves. That's even something that people don't talk enough. People don't even extend, and that's why they can't extend it to the next person. So you have to, and that's why I said this show, it sounds a bit, I've repeated it so many times, but it's very important that some of these things we're saying, like, we have them, people don't even look at themselves.
Yeah.
You can't extend grace to the business you don't pay attention to.
Mm.
You can't invest money. You won't know where you need help. So we spend a lot of time, and it's an African thing. Our parents will never admit to their flaws.
Oh, yeah.
So we grew up never admitting to our flaws.
Yeah.
And what that is, we keep deflecting. There's that tendency to look at the next person for a solution, for everything. So, and you isolate yourself. But people need to increasingly learn to spend time alone. I think that some of the key takeaways from this is that people need to start sitting down with themselves. And it gets harder. So we live in a very tricky world where social media gives us the illusion of closeness.
Yeah.
So you check your Facebook, you have 5,000 followers or you have 5,000 friends. And you feel like, you post a tweet and everybody reposting or sharing. So there's that illusion of closeness in the world we live in, but we have never been more isolated in the world we live in. Yeah. The idea of aloneness is scary for a lot of people.
Yes.
As in, people don't like sitting down with themselves, and that's where a lot of people are slipping into depression because we do not stay with ourselves. So I think when we talked about that thing, when we talked about betrayal and stuff, there's the point that you eventually had to come back to yourself. When you went to Lagos about your show, and you have to ask yourself, you have to ask your friends a question: why are you not buying from me?
Yes.
Because you had looked at yourself, you felt, and you took that feedback.
You felt like
Come on, like I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Like, but you took the feedback and see where you are today, and you went back to correct. So it's the same thing. Business life is the same thing.
Because you're going to be asking yourself, why is this going? So you need to spend time with yourself. You know, spend time with yourself. I'm not going to. I don't even know how to. This has been so enlightening. It has been really enlightening, and I believe that the viewers out there will take something back or take something away from our discussion today. There's something we have. So the whole essence of this podcast is for us to learn. So me sitting down here as host, I learn from the conversations that happen here. I learn from it. I go back. I think about it. I reflect on the things that have been discussed, and I try to apply it to my own life. So I believe that the people out there who are watching this would take something away from this and hopefully apply it to their everyday, lives and in the way they relate to other people. At this point, I'm going to say thank you so much, my amazing guests, for your honesty, for the vulnerability. To be honest, it's not everybody who is going to walk in here, sit down behind a camera and say all of these things and share things, personal stuff, but you have done that, and I am deeply grateful for that. And to my amazing viewers, of course, like I said before, I know you've taken something away from what has happened or the discussion that we have had here today. So until next time, keep healing, keep hoping, and keep growing to be a better version of you. Bye-bye. Please, please, please subscribe, like, and share. And please do not forget to drop a comment for us in the comment section. We want to hear from you. We want to do better.